guys, Fu here, and I'm bringing you my review for a new haunt for Maginoni and I, and that's Fear Farm. It's located out at 2209 North 99th Avenue in Phoenix. It's $25 for all 5 of the haunted houses. $10 gets you the fast track to the front of the line, or an extra $10, not just $10. An extra $10 gets you a fast track to the front of the line, and then I think it was $8 gets you the non-haunted corn maze, which I skipped because I don't care, it's not haunted. There are 5 themed mazes for this: Chainsaw Mayhem, Condemned, Descent, Funhouse, and Twisted Fairy Tales. The entire Fear Farm area has sort of a carnival thing going on for it. There's food and some rides and some music and booths going on. I pretty much went past all of that. I was like, that's a nice time for haunted houses. Each of the haunted houses has sort of a building that's themed like what the haunted house is to sort of get you in the mood. I really enjoyed that you could look at all of them, that they had this little facade going on. Really enjoyed that. We started out with Chainsaw Mayhem, which was Chainsaw Mayhem themed. It has sort of this older looking house with 2 levels and stuff going on the outside. And then you obviously move into this house space. There's some really cool stuff going on with this haunted house. It's really immersive and great. You move into a house area, you move into an outdoor area, you move through a lot of different things. And it incorporates part of the corn maze, but it's not. I was worried when they were like, oh yeah, it has a corn maze in it. I was like, The corn maze is great. I loved how much moving there was. You walk through a lot of space with this. You're up and down and over and under and just everywhere. It's like living a zombie video game, except I'm not shooting anything. As far as sort of the looks of everything looked really great. There were some good scares going on, and there's some really fun things all over the place. There's one part where you end up going over a bridge sort of thing, and then there's someone's throwing stuff at you, and then there's explosions of water that were absolutely great. Everything's just really well done with this. The scares are good, the actors are good, the ambiance is good. I absolutely adore how much space you have to cover, the level changes you're constantly going through, the indoor to outdoor to indoor to outdoor spaces. Everything's interesting and keeps you sort of on your toes the entire time. I absolutely adored Chainsaw Mayhem. The only downfall is it ends with a chainsaw. But for Chainsaw Mayhem, I find it appropriate. I'm not a fan of the chainsaw chasing guy. It doesn't do anything for me. I just sort of stand there while he revs the chainsaw. But I did see some chicks legitimately flip out and book it out of there. So keep up the good work with Chainsaw Mayhem. Perfect, beautiful, lovely. The second maze we went to was Condemned, which was Condemned House zombie themed. Again, it did some really great things. It moved you through some really interesting areas. You got this sort of indoor-outdoor space. There were cool lighting effects. There were just cool things going on overall. There was a point where you had to crawl through things and go up things into another outdoor space. Loved it. I love the immersive feeling of having to move through these buildings and then into an outdoor space and then into another building and then up into a bus and then up into a trailer. The only problem I have with Condemned is that the theme was sort of similar to Chainsaw Mayhem. They were both hillbilly zombie type things going on. So honestly, it wasn't that long since we've been to Fear Farm, but I can't remember what happened in one maze and what happened in the other, so I keep mixing them up in my head, would be the only issue. But they're both really well done. I really enjoyed both of them. I just had an excellent time going through and looking at everything, and the acting was superb. It was a good time. It was refreshingly fun for me. Descent was the third of the mazes we hit, and I was so excited for this. You walk up to this maze and there's big old lookout towers with lights rolling on them, and you can sort of see the edge of a big old airfield building, and it's alien themed. Aliens. You know what that's not? Zombies or clowns. aliens. No one's doing aliens right now, so, or at least no one in Arizona is really doing aliens right now, so I was excited to see this. This maze, oh my gosh, there was great things everywhere. The interaction, many of the actors were playing the part of, Army, Navy people in the role of getting you through an infected alien area where the aliens are probing people, so they're looking for people who are probed. It told the basic idea of a story without really going into much detail. So I liked being sort of moved through the spaces by these army guys. There's just great things going on ambience-wise. There's a couple of points where there's like some mannequins dressed as aliens that I wish were people or were animatronics or did something, because it was like mannequin, actor who looks nothing like the mannequin, and it didn't do it for me. This maze in other places though is so cool. You're moving through an army base into an infected area, into the crash site where the aliens have already sort of taken over, and oh, that was so beautiful. The crash ship was perfect. You're over like rickety bridges in like caves. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. There was beautiful animatronics in this area. The one thing I have to say about the animatronics here is they make that animatronic noise, and I just think like a low ambient noise or a sort of like roar whenever the animatronic moves to cover up that clear hiss of the animatronic itself would make those perfect. But they're so well executed. They're lit well, they're placed well, they in and of themselves are well done. And there's alien suit guys running around that did an amazing job. I seriously was 110% convinced that this guy was a mannequin until I was on top of him and he scared the living crap out of me. And he made effort to scare the crap out of us. And not everyone does that. So I was like seriously in awe of this entire maze. I think the only things I could really find wrong with it were whoever was directly in front of us, like in the group in front of us that we ended up sort of catching up with, knew a couple of the actors, and the actors broke character to talk to them, which made me really unhappy when I saw one of the other alien guys lift up his mask and start like high-fiving and being like, yo bro, like I don't care if you know them, you ruined that experience for me, stop that. And I feel like there wasn't really an ending to this. You sort of move through this alien area and then there's, go, you're in the safe zone, go. But there wasn't anything to really like drive me out of that maze scared. But that was, the alien theme was great. The ambience of the entire thing was beautiful. And those alien suits, like, whoa, those alien suits. So after Descent, we went into Funhouse, which is apparently one of the, like, signature pieces for Fear Farm. They sort of promote with these two clown characters a lot. So I was really interested to see that. Funhouse, I think, honestly, was the weakest haunt they had here. Again, it's clowns with bright colors, which I've seen. Why are clowns always neon? I don't know. I feel like the clowns were the weakest, sort of, as far as the ambiance went. In the three mazes we had been in previously, like, the ceilings were always addressed, the surrounding area was always addressed, you felt really immersed. With this, I felt like I was walking through a maze made out of, cheap wood and black paint and green and pink paint. There were some interesting scares and some interesting moments splattered throughout. But I felt I was just really bored this entire maze, I think. The group in front of us was scared. One of them was apparently scared of clowns. And there were some moments where everyone got really backed up where you had to, like, choose directions or figure out directions. And that seemed to cause more issues than it did create a scary effect. Because we ended up, like, backed up into a whole bunch of people just sort of sitting around, doing nothing except trying to figure out what door to go through. The actors seemed like they were having a good time with everything. But overall, I feel like this just wasn't as strong as the previous three mazes we had been into. The final maze we hit was Twisted Fairy Tales, which obviously is a Twisted Fairy Tale theme. It has sort of a castle for the outside, keeping with each of the different haunts having an a building that you can look at from the line to sort of give you a feeling and effect. I really enjoyed the Twisted Fairy Tale. I wish that some of them were pushed further. There were some really great scares, really, really excellent scares in this one. The corn maze was used to excellent effect. There's a great scare in there. They hit sort of fairy tale and then Christmas, but I didn't mind it. The Christmas part was great. I think the part that sort of hits the mark with all of the fairy tale issues is that a lot of them just don't do anything. It was like I walked into an area and there would be, you know, a gingerbread house or whatever fairy tale they were dealing with, and there was a chick dressed up like one of the characters, creepily staring at us, and then that's what happened in that area. That was it. And it did that 2 or 3 times, which I think was the only downfall for this haunt. When it was good, it was really good. I enjoyed the Alice in Wonderland ending a whole lot. The Christmas section was great. The Wizard of Oz section was superb. And I think it's a really interesting take. I'd like to see more of it, once again. But I think this is sort of, I really like the Twisted Fairy Tale idea. And I think it's way more interesting than Neon Clowns. Again, I felt like there wasn't really anything driving you out of that maze at the end. You just sort of like went through the last little bit and then were like doop 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 back home. Overall, Fear Farm was well worth the drive across town for me, well worth the price, and a super, super great time. I really enjoyed Chainsaw Mayhem, Condemned, and Descent. I'd recommend going and checking those out, definitely. And, I mean, the fun Halloween-y atmosphere of the whole thing was really, really great. With that atmosphere, though, there was some loud music playing more towards the fairy tale maze, and with a lot of these being outdoors, you could hear the ambient music playing the entire time, and I'm not talking like ambient creepy music, I'm talking like rock and roll playing the whole time. So you're walking through a maze and then you're hearing whatever song the DJ's playing, which was a little bit distracting. It was a lot of bit distracting as you got further along towards like Twisted Fairy Tale when I'm walking to the end of the maze and I'm like, oh, Metallica, yeah, why are we listening to Metallica? Like, I guess it's Halloween-y, but like, I'm in the Wizard of Oz, so I don't really know what Enter Sandman has to do with the Wizard of Oz, but okay. So, Fear Farm, keep up the good work. I'm super excited to go back next year. I honestly hope I have time to hit this again this season. Tell me what you guys think about Fear Farm. Rate the video up or down. I'll see you next time. Bye.